error several times. So bear with me. A few housekeeping notes. First is I want to thank everybody for coming. My mom, she would really appreciate the love and support we've gotten from the church, from all just the family and friends. Our kid and I really appreciate it. We need the love. We really appreciate it. Secondly, I'm going to tell some reflections about my mother. This is supposed to be funny because she really appreciates my humor. She's a fan. And your laughter is going to help me get through this.
Yes.
So,
yes.
She wouldn't want anybody to cry at her funeral. So if it's funny, please laugh. If it's funny, and then actually, just so I can get through this, I'm going to invite my sister Anita, my sister Najma to come here and help me through this because this is not going to be long. It's only going to be about 8 or 10 minutes. But if I'm choking up Arkia, I want you to punch me in the arm, okay? And then Naj, you pinch me because your punch hurts. So, I want to get through this. But, where do I start? First of all, this isn't how I expected my mom's funeral to be. I always envisioned her to live to 120 in my mansion, all her friends around her, and as she's passing, gracefully, I'm wiping olive oil and rosemary on her feet, but it just didn't happen that way, So we're here now, and I guess for starters, I really want to thank my mom's two best friends, Wanda and Kim. They were amazing throughout this tough time. For us, we've been on cruise control, and they've really stepped up for us as far as doing all the funeral home stuff and with the church. They've been taking the lead on that, and they've made it very easy for us to breathe. So we really appreciate you too. You guys have been like our fairy godmothers. And I guess for starters, for me, this is a little bit probably harder for me than it is Arkia, because about 3 weeks ago, my mom had some minor shoulder surgery, and Arkia and I took care of my mother in shifts. And Arkia took the first shift. The first shift's the hardest, and in that shift, she took my mom to and from the surgery appointment. And when my mom came home, she was a little loopy off the surgery drug, so Arkia had to cook for her, clean for her. She even got to bathe her. And, it was a really, beautiful mother and daughter moment that they got to share. But when it was my turn, I was she did all the hard work, so it was a little bit easier for me. By the time I get to the second shift, my mom was back to normal. Let me do nothing for her. About dishes in the sink. I was leaving. I wasn't scraping the plates properly before I put them in the fridge. Just typical mom stuff. And so I would, I ordered like pizza and subs and junk food because I eat that kind of stuff when I'm home. I don't know when I eat that often with my mom, and I can't cook, so it's perfect. Things like business as usual. One thing that on my shift, I would check on my mom while she was watching those movies. But I was in my room watching football, basketball, and Netflix. And, like I said, business as usual. But, what I wouldn't give to watch that Hallmark, Lifetime with my mother now, had I known.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're here. And the second reason why this is probably harder for me is because I was my mom's problem child. She always would tell people, if I had been her first, I would have been her last. And my mom was very tough on me. Unlike my sister, who got good grades, did all her chores, and lied to mom all the time. So she wasn't worried. I did. I got okay grades, and you know, I didn't do my chores, and I was a terrible liar. So I was on punishment a lot. And I gave my mom a hard time, and so it's tough, you know, for that reason. She spent a lot of time with me, but you know, fast forward, I remember, you know, just going through this whole process. I asked my cousin Hood, who lost his mom when he was 26. I said, Hood, you know, how long did it take you to get over the loss of your mother? And he said, well, I'm 40 years old now, and I'm still not over the loss of my mother. I was like, man, you were supposed to say something different, man. I thought you were going to say like 2 weeks or a month, man. Like, I ain't really going to say that answer. So, like, man, you're the worst person to consult me about this, man. I thought you would be a better answer. But he was just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, Hood, you know, how did you get through it? So he said, well, it depends on what you focus on. So he gave me 3 tips. So I'm going to share 3 tips with you. So the first thing he said was, you know, you should be happy that you have a mother to miss.
Amen.
Not everybody likes their mother.
Amen.
You've got mom issues. And mothers didn't, you know, they don't adore your mother like you did. You know, you didn't have a mom that was feeding the whole neighborhood steakings and during the summertime and welcoming people into their houses when their parents would kick them out when they come to my house. So you didn't have a mom like that. So, you know, I'm grateful to God that I had my mother for 42 years because my cousin Hood, he only had his for 26. So I'm grateful for God for that. You know, the second tip he told me was that you got to remember the key moments. And so there's 3 moments in my life that really stood out. So the first one was 1987. I was 9 years old. I remember my mom bought me Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for Nintendo. And, you know, I was playing it, and I came downstairs one day, and I was crying. And she said, why are you crying, Yusuf? I said, because I can't beat King Hippo. And, you know, people who had that game, man, King Hippo was tough. You know, we didn't have no internet, we didn't have no cheat codes, we didn't have no cell phones. And not everybody had a Nintendo, so you couldn't ask people. And so I was crying, and she looked at me, and she said, Yusuf, you better go upstairs, wipe them tears away, figure it out before I take the game back to Toys R Us. So I wiped the tears off, I went upstairs, and I figured it out. And you know, that was one of the major things in my life as a 9-year-old that I remember because it gave me some confidence from my mom, you know, to overcome adversity. And that was the first time, you know, someone gave me the confidence to figure things out on my own. And I'm glad she didn't coddle me. She didn't go up there and do it for me. She put that responsibility on me, and that really helped me as far as development as a young man. You know, the second thing that she did was when I was in 7th grade, you know, I got cut from the basketball team, and that really hurt me because prior to that, you know, I was in karate, and I was a black belt karate. I was really good in karate. You know, my friends used to come over, I'd show off all my trophies, and I was like karate kid. That was my thing. So I never really failed at anything in life, but when I got cut, that really hurt my soul. And you know, instead of like, you know, I cried hard. So when I finished, the next day I got up and I started really working on my basketball game, and I really I was dribbling all around the neighborhood, I was dribbling in the garage. I was really into it, you know. And she saw that, and so the following summer, she built the basketball court in the backyard for me. And that really touched me because she really believed in me.
Yes.
And I ain't hitting me, man. Come on.
Yeah. You're doing good.
She that really, you know, that was the first time somebody really believed in me, something that I was passionate about. So that really affected me, and it gave me a lot of self-confidence, and I got really good, you know, and that was a really pivotal part in my development. You know, both my parents had a really good work ethic, so I knew if you give me the tools, I'll figure it out. I really worked hard on my game. And so the third thing, and probably the most important, was the moment of my mother and I is when I was 28. I made the pilgrimage to Mecca, and for Muslims it's a requirement if you have the ability to do so to go once in a lifetime, and it's a very spiritual journey. So I went when I was 28, and you know, I was over in the Middle East for 5 weeks, and you know, you go over there, it's you know, just before the iPhone came out, so I ain't have no Wi-Fi, no cell phone. I was completely disconnected. I'm in the desert. It was a very holy ground, you know, all these previous prophets, Abraham, Adam, all you're in this holy ground. So I'm in this place, and I'm doing a lot of personal reflection on my life, and it was just very overwhelming, you know, just that kind of experience. So when I get back in town, about three days when I get back in town, my cousin Hood, who gave me this advice about losing his mother, that's when his mother passed away. 3 days. That really shook me because, you know, he was one of the first, you know, I was close to, I'm very close to his family, his brothers and sister, and I was close to his mom. In fact, I brought her a souvenir. She's the only person I brought a souvenir back. She asked me for one, and that really hurt me. But what it did do is it really made me appreciate my mother even more. I remember like 2 weeks later when I went home to see my mom, it was like, you know, how was your trip? It was like, man, I just broke down, man. I just broke down, lost it, and I just bawled and cried so hard in my mom's lap. You know, I gave her all her roses that day. I said, look, Mom, you're the best mom ever. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Come on now, hey. I'm sorry, you know, for everything I did to you and how ungrateful I was as a child and how much he had to put up with me. I just sobbed and I cried, man. I bared my soul to this woman, man. I told her everything I ever wanted to tell her about how much she meant to me, and I loved her and I appreciated it and I'm gonna do better and all this stuff. And I'm just bearing my soul to this woman. It was like one of them Hallmark movies she liked so much. You know? It was a beautiful mother and son moment, and I did this. And funny thing is, like 2 months ago, when I came down to visit her, I asked my mom about this and said, Mom, you remember the time when I came down and I bared my soul to you, how much I loved you and cared about you and everything? Remember that time? She did in my face and said, nope. I said, dang, man. Oh, that was like my most vulnerable moment for her. It was the day of the job. I probably cried her lap so many times. It just showed me that she didn't do it for like, you know, likes or for praise or a thank you. She did it because she loved me unconditionally.
That's right.
Really
Yes.
Me. So
yes.
I remember that. I appreciate that. So, and the third tip, and I'll close with this, that my before I say my third tip, this is the fourth tip that my cousin Hood told me. He said, be grateful for your siblings that you had them to go through. So I have some great siblings.
Yeah.
3 sisters, my brother. You know, just having this support here really helps out a lot, and I really appreciate it because I don't know if I could. Oh yeah, family, friends, and Farmington. Thank you. Yeah, you know, they're like my extended family. So I appreciate everybody's help, and calls, and texts, and stuff like that. But you know, the last thing that my cousin Hood told me that helped him get through overcoming the loss of his mother was that he talked to his dad a lot more. And so he said that, you know, when he talked to his dad, sometimes his dad reminds him about how annoying his parents can be. Because he said the other day, his dad called him and said, hey Hood, how are you? Is it good? He said, I need help with my iPhone. And he said, well, what's wrong? He said, I need help turning it on. And so, you know, helping your parents out with electronics ain't the easiest thing. I just sat my dad's hours I set up Netflix. I was asking him for his password. He would give me an email address. And it's just tough. But you know, I just want to. There's 3 things I want to thank my father for as it relates to my mother. But number 1, you know, they say the best thing you can do for your child is find them a good mother. And so I really appreciate my father for finding my mother because, you know, I know they met while he was in medical school and she was in nursing school. I don't know what pickup line you use, but it was a good one. So I appreciate it because you got the best mother. She was an amazing woman and she loved being a mother.
strength,
I can look to you.
strength like no other, strength like no other,
And it
reaches me.
Says, in the fullness of your grace and in the power of your name, you lift me up. No matter how I feel, lift me up. Yes, in the
Fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up,
Thank you, Jesus. You lift us up, Lord.
you lift me
In the fullness
up, in the fullness
of
of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up,
Thank you for lifting me up, Lord.
you lift me
Stay right there. You
up,
lift me up.
you lift me up,
Father, we're grateful we can look to you, Lord.
you lift me
All the time,
up,
yes.
you lift me up,
Oh,
you lift me up.
you are my hope. Yes. Hope like no other. Hope like no other. And it reaches to me. And one more.
Amen.
Simply says, our peace.
Yes. Peace like no other. Peace like no other. Reaches to me.
The thought that I want to share with you for just a few moments this morning is, what do you do when the unexpected happens to you? We all live in the tension of this life. Our expectations, those things that are unexpected, it happens to us. It could be a shattered dream, divorce, or death. And ultimately, our plans get interrupted in 1,000 different ways and unexpected ways. And these things happen all along the course of life. I lost my mother this year, and I understand the heartache and the pain, the challenge of the toll that takes on your life. But none of us would have ever imagined that we would be here today saying goodbye to Mother Ellis. Mother Gillis was a blessing. She was a woman that was full of energy, full of hope, full of expectation, and full of conversation. If she got you in a conversation, she could hold her on.
Oh, yes.
And I could elaborate on all of her accomplishments and her accolades, but you all know them much better than I do, and her son really did a very profound job in sharing about her life. So what else could be said about a superb woman? Today we have many super women that are rising up, but as I thought about Mother Denese, she exuded superb with every fiber of her being. She'll be greatly missed as a mother, as a friend, as a confidant, as a teacher, as a mentor, and as just a really, really good person. And so my hope today is to share a word of comfort with you all, with the family, with the friends that are gathered here. It's in our everyday life that God shows up. It's where we learn about ourselves and our frailties of being in these human bodies. Everyday life invites us into this mystery that we call creation. How we relate one to another, how we practice faithfulness in the midst of uncertainties of life. These are the things that shape and determine our destiny and our fulfillment in life. It means we must see more deeply, we must see more clearly, we must be present to whatever is going on around us, whether it is planned, whether it is unexpected, whether it is desired, or whether it is unwanted. Life has this unique way of demanding constant attention. And it is our adaptability to the changes that it brings. There's a passage of scripture in the book of Corinthians, and Paul says this. He says, if in this life only you have hope, we are people most miserable. If this is it, we don't have a whole lot to look forward to. But he elaborates on that. And during life's journeys, I've had many moments to examine, to meditate, and to even exegete this text, to discern the intent and the heart of God, especially in moments like we're experiencing right now. God, what are you saying in my unexpected moments? God, what are you doing in my life's journey? How am I to reconcile this